Hello and welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew and today we are checking out some more Alan Wake 2. Now I've been playing around with this for a little while. I've been kind of looking at everything. Right now we have full path tracing on. This is running on 7900 XT with a 5900X. No overclocking, none of that kind of stuff. This is just all stock. I'm running the XFX, the XFX black version of the Merc Black of the 7900 XT. And this here is, let me show you what the settings are. We're running full screen. We are at 2560x by 1440p, but we're using the quality setting for FSR2. VSync is off, motion blur is off, film grain is off. We are set to, I thought everything was set to high except for that, clearly. So we're going to go post-processing is high. Shadow detail, we'll put that on high. I don't know why it's not on high. I thought that was all on high. And then ray tracing. So all of this is all set to high. So let me see what that did to the frame rate. Yeah, okay, so we're about the same. Even with those two on, we'll still be at the same. So, as you can see, right here in town, we are, in the 40s. In the 40s. So, I mean, theoretically, yeah, that's definitely playable. But, let's take a look at this right here. If we run into here with all this vegetation, we will go all the way down to freaking 20 frames a second. And that is clearly unplayable. And this game here is clearly going to have a significant portion out in the wilderness. So you will basically, that's not going to be playable. Because I feel like that's where a lot of your combat and stuff is going to be. So once you get into like trees and vegetation and all of that stuff, your frame rate literally halves. It like goes in half. But if you're out here and you're just running around, you're looking at things, you can get a fairly stable playable frame rate at 1440p. 1080p basically takes you up to about close to 60 frames a second. You're with the quality preset, you're about 55. But as you can see, like, you get all of your ray tracing, all of your path tracing, all of that stuff. So I mean, I just, after looking at like image quality and all of that stuff, the one thing that I do want to point out, let's point this out just real quick. I want you guys to see this because it kind of just makes me feel like ray tracing is just really, really. Not only is it like super intensive. Okay, so like if you're sitting right here, obviously you can see the fence kind of shuddering back there in the distance. I mean, you can obviously see that. And it's the same at native. So that doesn't necessarily matter too much. But when you look at like the ray tracing and stuff, like you can see everything and it looks pretty dang good. I mean, it'd be a fool to say it doesn't look good. But at the same time, look at your frame rate right now. You're at 43 frames a second. Now, if you're just walking around in here and you're just having some fun and you're checking things out and you're walking around looking at the city, whatever, go ahead and throw that on. Go ahead and throw that on. I have not been able to actually get AMD's fluid motion frames to seem like it's working. Because even when I have it switched on, it really doesn't help with the frame rate. But just looking at like a vegetated area like that, you'll see the FPS kind of going down. So let me go ahead. Let's walk back over here to this spot. Where I mean, obviously you can see like the very, very nice, all of this beautiful looking ray tracing. So let's go back. Let's go into options. And then let's go all the way back down here. Let's see. Let's go ahead and take our ray tracing completely off.
Come on, Saga.
This is the image quality that you get with ray tracing off, and this is the frame rate. Now you're pushing like 130. You're pushing 130 frames. So I mean, you're getting up there. Obviously, you lost some detail, and then once you pan the camera down, you lose absolutely everything. But they've done a good enough job at approximating the overall image quality for that. And like when you move your character through it, it still looks good. Like it's not, everything's not like moving apart and getting all weird looking, but it is screen space. So if you pan the camera left and right, you are going to see it disappear as you start to move your camera. Which, when you're in the heat of action, I don't necessarily think that matters too much. All right, now let's look over here at the vegetated area. That will drop you down a little bit, but if we go back over here and when we go into this garden area, you can basically see that, like, obviously the image quality does not significantly change to the point where you're losing any quality whatsoever. Like you're not losing any overall image quality. So now if we come back over here to the dock where the boats and stuff are, just over here by this moving van. Let's get over here real quick. And then we'll look over out in here. Look, you still get all that detail in the reflections, all of that. So, I mean, they did an amazing job. It's not separating or acting like really weird when you pan the camera by your character. You're not listening. It's not showing everything like disappearing and stuff. When you move the camera down, you're gonna lose all that. But I mean, you're still getting the silhouette of the mountain. It still looks nice and diffuse. So I mean, I feel like they did an amazing job at still giving you that quality looking image. If you wanted to like stop and do like pictures or something. So let's go ahead and turn that back on. Let's go back up to high, and then look at that. So in a way, though, now it looks kind of grainy. Now the water looks grainy, but it doesn't fall apart like when you pan your camera. But if you look at that, like look at where the stairs are, that looks grainy. Over there by the boat looks grainy, and you basically essentially cut your frame rate in half for that. And it's even more drastic when you get into vegetated areas. So I don't know. I don't know if I kind of feel like ray tracing is a scam. To be completely honest with you, it does look nice, but the performance hit that you take for that, I mean, look at how grainy that looks. Like it's not even that great looking. But when you go back and you take off, ray tracing, look, now it looks better. There's no grain, nothing. Now it just looks nice and clean. So I don't know. I mean, well, I guess if you got like the NVIDIA card, you know, it'll help with that denoising or whatever now with the 3.5. But dang, man, I don't know. I don't know if it's absolutely worth it to have that. I mean, having this really much higher frame rate, being able to look at all of that and still have like beautiful image quality. Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn our ray tracing back on to high. And then let's walk over here. You can kind of see your character walking up toward the window. The glass looks pretty good. The environment behind there, you got the buildings and stuff in there. You got the mountain range. You got the signs, the moving truck, all of that. The litter on the ground, obviously, looks pretty dang good. Now let's check this out without that ray tracing on there. Sucks that I got to keep getting in here and doing this, but I don't know. We're looking at this. All right, so now you essentially lose the building, you lose the mountain range, you lose everything that was out there. And you cannot see, well, you can kind of see your character in there. But it's not the front of your character, you're seeing the back of your character. You can see like the FBI on her back. It's like a reverse. It's like reverse. So I mean, you can kind of see your character, so they have that in there, but you are losing all the other stuff when it comes to like windows and stuff like that. But you are still keeping the amazing looking quality visuals. Let's go ahead and get our ray tracing back on there for a minute. I mean, even with the ray tracing on, you're still not even getting ray tracing out of like the car windows. But you are getting it out of, you know, like the glass when you're walking up toward the building and stuff. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if that is worth half your frame rate. Especially if you have to use like frame gen. I mean, to me, it just kind of looks... See, that's the thing. Let's go back over here, because, like, we'll look at this. Like, that water right there, like, I like the way it looked the other way. That just looks like grainy. It's almost like there's film grain all over that. Let's see what it looks like with native. Let's go ahead and switch this over to native 1440p. Yeah, it's still grainy. Still absolutely grainy. But if we go back in there to options and we turn this off, yeah, that looks significantly better. That looks significantly better. That looks more realistic. It's not all fuzzy and gritty or anything like that. And you get double your freaking frame rate back at native resolution. You're still almost close to 100 frames a second. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it, especially in this game. I feel like this right here is so nice looking that doesn't even matter. And I mean, to be able to play this at 4K on the 7900 XT and to be able to still get a playable frame rate like at up to 60 frames a second, you know, by using the quality setting for FSR2, that to me is very, very nice. You still get all the pulls in the puddles. You can still see like the tree color as you're walking through here. I mean, you get into like the tree area and stuff, and you know, I mean, obviously you're still going to lose some performance like through here, but it's not taking you down into the 20s. I don't know. I just don't know if it's worth it. I mean, I feel like your only option to really play with a very nice looking, you know, path tracing experience is going to be like your 4090, maybe your 4080, 4070 Ti maybe. You know, obviously your XTX and your
This can't be the right way.
your 78 or your 7900 XT, maybe your 7800 XT would probably get you I mean, obviously if you take your resolution all the way down to like 1080p and you're playing on like 1080p or a 1440p monitor, it's still doable. Like it's still doable, and it still does add to the overall image quality. So I think that is very, very nice for them to have this in there. But I don't think it's necessary, to be completely honest with you. I don't think the ray tracing is necessary. If you want to have a good experience, I feel like they did a decent enough job at making this look convincing enough to where it looks nice. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.